welcome back to another episode. I'm sorry it's been quite a while since my last episode. I restarted uni again at the beginning of October, and this year's been quite full on the module that I'm on, so I knew when I started the podcast that I was possibly going to struggle for time once I started that, and the beginning of it has been quite full on, but hopefully it'll calm down and I'll have more time to do more filming. I have got a few finished objects to show. I don't know if anyone follows me on Instagram. I'll put my name, Instagram label down below in the description. But I was due to have an operation on my hand, which would then have taken me out of work for a week or two, and out of study as well. So my original plan was knit as much of my work in progresses as I can to get them finished before I had my op, and then when I was one-handed for a couple of weeks I was then going to film a podcast. But my operation got cancelled the week it was due to happen, so that didn't happen, so I've carried on being at work and studying. But it does mean I have, however, finished several of my work in progresses, and I've started another one in between my Christmas projects. So, first object is my jumper. I don't know why, but when I did the gauge swatch, it came out smaller, so I had more stitches per inch than there should have been, which technically should have made the jumper smaller than it was meant to be, but for some reason it's come out huge. But it's okay, it fits me. It's a bit baggy, but it's a nice warm cosy jumper to wear around the house. I have worn it out. It doesn't look really baggy. It's not so big that it looks ridiculous. It looks like a nice oversized jumper, so I'm still really happy with it. It's really soft still. The pattern was the Tin Can Knits flax jumper, so it's got this detailing down the arm here, and yeah, it all went okay. I did make a couple of mistakes when I did the sleeve. You were meant to decrease, work 6 rows, then decrease, but for some reason when I was writing it down I was decreasing, worked 5 rows and then decreased. But it worked out okay because I just carried on knitting it until it was the right length, and I made a note of what I did on the first sleeve, what I did wrong, so then I could make the same mistake on the other sleeve so that they would match. But yeah, I don't know if the colour's coming out. It's a nice dark teal colour. I think I've shown it before, but yeah, it took me a couple of months, but I really wanted to finish it before Christmas, and I wanted to finish it before I was due to have my operation as well. So once I had the date for that, I just kept on knitting with the aim of finishing it. But then, as I say, my op got cancelled, so it didn't matter in the end. Anyway, I've done a few socks as well. So first up, my Halloween socks. So I have worn it, so it has gone a bit baggier on the blocker. This yarn, the jumper's yarn was a Rowan, I can't remember the name of it. It was a Rowan one, superwash wool. And this one was the from Stripey Cat, and it was the Spooky Speckle colourway. Now, I have washed these, and I did make the beginner's mistake of sticking them in the washing machine. And not only did I stick them in the washing machine, but I put them in with a load of dark black items, and I think the colour came off of those. So it has dulled the sock down a little bit from what the colour was. Originally it was really bright. So yeah, I have dulled it, but that's my mistake, not the yarn's fault. But I've actually got enough left that I can make another sock. I haven't got any more of this green, but I've got enough of the stripes to make some more. And there's some purple in this, and I have got a purple mini that I dyed, so I might do it again, make another one but with purple contrast, which in a way will be quite nice because then I won't have two the same. Yeah, so that is my Halloween. I have got a pair, but I would show you a pair on blockers, but I saw these blockers from a well-known online yarn shop, and I thought, oh, they look good, because I've been after the steel ones. I quite like the steel ones that you normally see, but every time I check they're always out of stock in my size. And then I went on, because I've got another jumper planned, but I was one ball of wool short, so I went on to order another ball, and I saw this. I would say these, but that's what I'm coming to, and I saw this and I thought, oh, they look nice. They were quite cheap, it was about 8 or 9 quid, so I thought, oh, I'll get one of those, some of those, get a pair. So I ordered it, and it arrived, just the one little sock blocker on its own. And it's like, I checked because I thought, oh, is there one missing? Because normally you buy sock blockers, they come as a pair because you have a pair of socks. But when I checked, no, you get just one. So I don't know what you expect to do. Like if you make a pair of socks, you wash one, put it on the blocker, wait 2 days for it to dry, then wash the second sock separately. I've got no idea. It seems a bit odd selling one sock blocker. And actually when I ordered it, I tried to order 2 pairs. Which if I had been able to order 2 pairs, I would have at least have ended up with 1 pair. But they only had 1 in stock, which I thought was 1 pair, but no. So I've just got one lonely little sock blocker. But at least I can use it for the podcast, even if I can't use it for actual blocking, because one blocker is useless. Not that I'm annoyed about that at all, but it's a lie. I am annoyed. It annoys me. Who wants 1 sock blocker? You need 2. Socks come as a pair. Blockers should come as a pair. But anyway, I'll put that aside. Next up was another pair of socks, and on my pair of sock blockers I have the Christmas colourway. This is from, oh, got to get the name right, it's Dragon Hill Studios. I'll put the link below in case I have got that wrong. And it's their Christmas colourway, so you've got this gold and silver, a little speckled bit, and then it came with a contrasting red. I don't know if it's come out if I hold it closer. It's got some gold, I think it's gold stellina, gold speckled socks, sparkle all the way through it. So I haven't worn these yet, I am saving these for Christmas. But yeah, both of these, the Halloween socks and these ones, are both the Crazy Sock Lady pattern. The vanilla socks on Magic Loop. It seems to be my go-to pattern for stripy socks. But yeah, really pleased, because when I started these I wasn't sure if I was going to get them finished, because my first socks that I did took me about, I can't remember now, it was either 4 or 6 weeks, it took me a long time. And then I did the Halloween ones and I wasn't sure if I'd get these done, not in time for Christmas, but I wanted them done before December, because I've got some Yarn Badger Advent yarn coming, where you knit some socks but you knit a stripe a day for Advent. So I knew I needed to start them in December, so I wanted to finish these, and I actually finished them at the start of November. I think I'd done them within a week, which is very, very quick for me. Normally it takes me a while to do socks, so really happy with these. Yeah. And that is my finished objects. So for me, 3 finished objects in a go is quite a lot, because as I say, work, study, I knit mostly in the evenings. You know, I don't get long periods of time to do the knitting, so it does take me a while to do a project. So for me, having 3 finished objects is quite a lot. At the moment I've only got 1 work in progress. I wanted to make the new Hoagie Locatelli jumper. I think it's called Ritual. I've got all the wool for it, and I did a couple of swatches actually. Hold on. So I did some swatching for it. This is the wool I've got, which will be for the Ritual jumper, and I've got, because it's got contrasting stripes, so I'm going to use a just off-white for the contrast. But reason why this is dangly is I actually swatched it in the round, so these were joined at the back. Because when you swatch in the round, obviously you're just knitting each round, whereas if you do a flat swatch, you're purling around as well. So all you do is you knit across, and then you just have the yarn, pull it back around to the front, knit across again. So you end up with these strings of yarn going across the back, and then you just wash it. Once you've washed it, you cut it, lay it out to dry so that you can get your gauge from it. So I've had to order new needles for these. The size, because you needed 3 different types of 3 different sizes for the jumper, and the one to start the collar, which is where you start, I haven't actually got that size, so I've swatched it, I know what I'm doing with it. Well, I say I know what I'm doing with it, I know how to start it, but I've got to wait for some new needle tips to arrive so that I can start that. So my plan was that I would start that now, knit it up until December, and then put it aside to do my Christmas projects, and then pick it back up again. But it's going to take a few days for the needles to arrive, and I needed something else to do, so instead of the jumper I've started another pair of socks. All the socks I've made so far up to this point have been just a vanilla sock, because I was new to it, you know, I've not really knitted socks much, so I wanted to just do the vanilla ones. But now I'm going into a pattern. So this yarn is Winter Rainbow by the Yarn Badger. It's a merino yak silk. It's very nice and squishy, really nice to work with. And I am knitting up the Crazy Sock Lady again. I find her patterns really easy to follow, and she's also got YouTube videos which for some of the different techniques, so for someone that's learning it's quite nice to be able to follow along with some of the videos. You know, if you get stuck on a technique you can go and look it up and see how it's done. But this one is the heel toe do-si-do. So it's got its only pattern on the front, on the back it's plain, so it's not too hard to work out. And yeah, as I say, really like this yarn, really pretty colours. And because I want to learn new techniques with each project, as well as doing the pattern, I'm also going to attempt an afterthought heel. It's not a true afterthought heel, because obviously I'm thinking about it beforehand and not after, but again I'm following a tutorial, so I've marked off with these where I want the heel to go, so now I know how far I have to knit for the rest of the sock, and then I'm going to attempt to put in an afterthought heel on these. And this is sort of my practice pattern, because this is the pattern I want to make for my Christmas Advent socks as well, so I'm knitting these ones as a practice run for my Christmas. And yeah, so I'll cover up the actual pattern, but this is the pattern I'm doing, heel toe do-si-do. And yeah, it's just got that, it looks quite good for the stripy yarn, because some of the patterns, there was another one I wanted to do and it had like fake cables, but I think the stripes of the yarn and the pattern would fight for attention. You wouldn't be able to see either of them clearly, whereas I think this pattern works quite well for the stripy yarn, so that's the one I want to do for my Christmas socks. So I'm having a practice run with this. So I am doing them two at a time, but two at a time on separate needles like I normally do. So the other one, this one I've just got down to where I want the heel to go, so I'm now putting this one aside, and I've done the cuff on the second one, and then I'll knit that to the same point, and then I'll do the main sock, the foot part of both of them when I get there. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's quite an easy pattern to follow actually. It's not, I can't memorise it. There's sort of a bit too many steps, because you sort of work it one way, get to the middle, and then you're working it in reverse, and I haven't got round to, I can't seem to memorise what comes next, but I just have the pattern out on my lap and just glance down when I'm doing that bit, and then as I say, it's just knit on the back, so they are still working up quite quickly, so quite pleased with those. I have had quite a few new acquisitions, most of it yarn, so I'm not going to show everything that I've bought because some of it hasn't arrived yet, and frankly I'm not sure I want to see it all in a big pile because it might scare me. And also don't worry, I'm not going to have any spoilers for this, I'm not going to open it on camera, but I bought an advent calendar from the Mad Scientist, from the yarns, and it arrived. So no spoilers, I won't open it inside, but this is the box. So I got the Jekyll, so they do one Jekyll, one Hyde, and this is mine. I mean, the box is just, it's really nice, and I have peeked inside, not inside the packages, but I've had a peek inside the box, and it looks really nice, really well put together. I'm really excited to open it. But as I say, in case others haven't either, I think most of them have arrived looking at Instagram, but obviously some people won't look in the box, so I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But yeah, it's got ribbon, opens up at the top, and yeah, really nice. I'm really excited for December to hit, and I have got a couple more coming. I think it was lockdown madness, I went a bit mad on the advents. So I've got the advent socks, I've got this one, I've got one coming from Giddy Yarns, the 12 Days of Christmas, the collaboration, which I got that one because I'm quite new to knitting. I'm still discovering new indie yarn dyers. So I thought the 12 Days of Christmas, it's a collaboration from all different dyers, so it's a different dyer on each day. And I thought that'd be quite good for me to get a feel for different dyers, get to know some dyers I've not heard of, and you know, have a sample of the yarn without, you know, having to pay out for a full skein. So I've got that one, and I might have also bought the one from Stripy Cat Yarns as well, which I'm blaming Helen for that one because I said I wasn't going to buy it, and then we were chatting and I got talked into buying it. So I was trying to justify going, oh no, I can't justify getting another one, and then it was like, oh yeah, treat yourself, so I did. So yes, I've got that one, but that one, I didn't buy it in the original. There was a couple of spares that came up after, so I've bought one of the spares. But do you know what, all our holidays have been cancelled this year. We were meant to be away this weekend, we're off work this weekend, and instead we're here in another lockdown. We had our 2 weeks off during the other lockdown, so do you know what, instead of going on holiday, I'm just buying yarn and cheering myself up in December. So, getting on to Christmas knitting. I'm not knitting anybody any presents because I'm too new at it, I'm too slow. I might start knitting stuff for people's birthdays, but I didn't want to plan to knit something, not have it finished, and have to find something else. So I'm not planning on knitting any presents, but I have got some Christmas knitting planned with my advents. So as I mentioned, I've got the sock pattern for my advent socks. That's already arrived. I've opened it, but I haven't opened the wrapper because I don't want to see it until I cast on in December. So that's for that. And for one of my other advents, I'm doing the Heart and Cow by Helen Stewart. So it's this one. She's on Instagram as Curious Handmade. And yeah, you could buy, it was a knit vent. She's done like a knit vent ebook where I think it was about £15. You buy the knit vent 2020 for about £15, and then each week you get a new pattern. So I liked this one. Is that coming up? So it's a cow. You can either make it shorter and just have it as a single layer short cow, or you can knit it longer and have it as a wraparound. But I think it's designed to use an advent calendar. Yeah, so it's designed for 24 20-gram mini skeins, so it's perfect for an advent calendar. So that's what I'm going to be using for one of mine, is to knit that up, and I'm hoping I can knit it through December. My plan is to knit the stripe on the socks and knit a stripe on this each day. In all honesty, it's probably not going to happen. There are some days where I'm going to be working in the day, studying in the evening, but hopefully I can catch up on an evening where I'm not studying. So I'm hoping by the end of December it'll all even out and I'll have a cowl and some more socks at the end of it. So one of the advents is a DK one, and I'm not too sure what I'm going to be making with that. I'm going to look up some patterns, see if there's anything I like in DK, but to be honest I probably won't be able to knit that as well as the others because it'll just be too much. I won't be able to knit all of that, but at least I'll have something I can dig into for January. Something else I've been doing, this is not knitting related, but I used to do some watercolour painting, and I haven't done any for a few years and I've sort of missed it, but I kind of got stuck on how do you get back into it, because when you haven't done something for a long time, you're out of practice, and then I didn't want to sit down with this big white blank page and have the pressure of having to have like a finished painting at the end of it, and then worry that it's all going wrong because I'm out of practice. And so it kind of put me off starting anything, because I was just, you know, I just didn't know where to start with it. So I got one of these, which is, it's by Dana Fox, and it's basically a watercolour colouring in book, which is ideal for getting back into it. And if you've also been considering like wanting to paint, you know, now we're in lockdown again, and you know, even when we're out of lockdown there's still lots of places we can't go. If you've been looking up new hobbies and you've been interested in learning to paint, this is really good. She's got a few of these, like this is the In the Forest, so it's all forest based, but she's got a few, there's like an ocean one and a couple of others. And what it does is it sort of teaches you as well, which for getting back into it is ideal for getting used to like the feel of the paints, the feel of the brushes. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the page. So yes, I won't show you the instructional page, but you get an instructional page and then a practice, and this is printed on watercolour paper, so you practice in the book. So instructions there and little outlines here. So the first bit was just practicing, so the top bit was already there, and these are my bits in the green. So it gives you guidance on what to do, and then you practice. And then as you work through the book, it gets a little bit more complicated on each one. So I did this one the other day, a little caterpillar. And then by the time you get to the end, it sort of builds up the skill level, so it builds up your practice, like the techniques that you use. So if you haven't painted for a while and you want to get back into it, it's ideal. It takes away that fear of the blank page, and you know, you don't have to think too much about doing the drawing beforehand. You can just sit down, practice with your paints. Obviously once it's closed no one can see it, it's a bit like a sketchbook, so you haven't got that pressure there to finish something, and you can just sit down, relax, and just play with your paints and your brushes again. And as I say, if you want to try something new, this isn't an ad by the way, I bought this myself and I'm talking about it because I really like it. So yeah, it's not an ad, I haven't been asked to do any of this, I just really enjoy it. But yes, if you're interested, I really recommend these. So it's printed on watercolour paper, so you can practice in there. So if you don't want to do the drawing beforehand, show you one that's not done. So there's, like, you get the little outline and then you can colour it in. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably colour it in with colour pencils if you've got those, but yeah, it's designed for watercolour, and as I say, opposite each page it gives you instructions on one side, practice on the other. So yeah. And oh, where's it gone? What's in front of me? So to go with that, I also wanted to treat myself to some new paints, and a lot of the watercolour tins you see, they're just plain black, and it's like, considering they're designed for artists that tend to like colour, why are all the palettes black? I don't understand. But I saw these, and I use this, it's Schminky, not sure how you pronounce it. I use these paints anyway, but they're in the black metal tin, and this one came out a while ago, and it's just a prettier tin, and you get full pan of paints inside as well. But I couldn't find any in the UK because it was limited edition. Everywhere was sold out because I was a bit late to the party with this one. But I managed to find it on Amazon in Germany, and it actually worked out cheaper than buying it from the UK Amazon when it was in. So yeah, I got those to play around with as well. And I think that is all I've got. Actually, I said I wasn't going to talk about new acquisitions, but I bought this basket and I really like it. I've seen them sold on plant shops where when you have an indoor plant you stand it inside. It's not waterproof, it's not plastic lined or anything, it is just wicker, but I've got it as my knitting basket. So my crochet blanket's in there. I've done a few stripes on the crochet blanket actually, because when I finished my socks I didn't have another project, so I started doing some stripes on that. But crochet does hurt my hand a lot more than knitting, so I can't do a lot of it. So I've done a few stripes on that, but yeah, any big projects, this is what I kept my jumper in when I was knitting my jumper. And it's quite handy because it's got the handles, so if you're going from room to room or out to your car, or when we are allowed out again, if you're going round to a friend, you can just pick it up and take it with you. But yeah, got my knitting basket. And I think that's all I've got to go through knitting wise really. As I say, I'm just working on my socks. I've got projects planned, so I've got my Christmas projects done, well planned. Once that's over, I've got the Rituals jumper that I'm going to be working on. And yeah, I think I need to get used to looking in the camera. I've got a new camera and it's very weird, like where to look, and I often, because I'm in my front room, I'm distracted by other things because the cat's in here as well and he's sort of wandering around as well. So if I've not been looking at the camera, I do apologise, but as I say, I think it's only my third vlog, so I'm still getting used to sitting. It's very weird sitting here in front of a camera talking to myself, so I'm still getting used to all of that. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's all I've got to go through at the moment. So that's all I've got going on. So just trying to finish off my winter rainbow socks before, what date? Yeah, we're on the 15th now of November, so I need to finish those by the end of November because then my Christmas projects are going to start. So yep, just working on those for now, and then my Christmas stuff will start, and I'll hopefully be able to film another vlog sooner than it took me to film this one. I've also got a new camera as well. Took advantage of the Amazon Black Friday sale, so a camera pinged up that I had been looking at beforehand, and then it pinged up on a discount, so I took advantage of that. So hopefully the sound will be a bit better, and hopefully it's a lot easier to use as well because it is just a camera on its own, whereas when I was filming last time I was having to get the laptop out, attach the webcam, and it was a lot more hassle, whereas this, it's a lot easier to just set it up and film. So hopefully it will make it easier for me filming future vlogs because the setup won't take me as long to do, so I'll be able to film more regularly. But as I say, anyone I've mentioned, so where I've bought my yarn and everything from, I'll put links down below. As I say, I know I went on about the watercolour book quite a bit, but as I say, that wasn't mad, I just genuinely really liked it. But yeah, everything I've mentioned, I'll put the links down below, and I'll see you later. Bye!